Today we are going to be sharing with you some invaluable insight into the grooming world, whether you are starting as self-employed in your own home or if you're opening up your new salon.
Hi dog lovers, I'm Keely.
And I'm Jade, and over the course of 12 years I have worn many hats in the grooming industry. I started my career as a novice, then I grew from novice to apprentice to teacher to mobile grooming to home grooming, and also now I'm the proud owner of Hackney Barkers in East London.
I've been in the industry for just over a year now. I did a course in Tooting and then I was self-employed and now I'm employed by Hackney Barkers.
So let's kick off with a controversial one. Get ready to not be taken seriously as a profession. Unfortunately, in this line of work, many people do assume that all we do is play with doggies all day. And as fun as that sounds, it is far more complex than that. So let's get into it. Keely, what do you find that has happened to you?
Due to having a career change quite later on in life, I would say that when I told people that I was going to become a dog groomer, the one thing, as you said earlier, was I was going to be playing with dogs all day. And I understood that to a part that would happen, but I think the one thing that people don't understand is dogs are completely different to humans. When humans are getting a haircut, they sit very still and they tell you exactly what they want. Whereas with dogs, you have to understand the whole structure of a dog, the skeleton, the way you move a dog, the way you handle a dog, the way you talk to a dog, neutralising your emotions to the dog so that they don't get too stressed or too scared. You have to do health checks on the dog. You know, it's every single part of your brain is taken up by the dog in that 2-3 hours that you have them on the table. And I think that's very hard to explain to people when all they see is just a cute fluffy dog at the end of the groom, you know.
We need to study and learn every breed of dog, learn the requirements of the owner as well, and try and portray that into the breed standard. So you would adjust, say, like a schnauzer having a shorter beard if the owners don't like it or the beard gets wet, so you have to change that, but not so much that you're going to change the entire face so it doesn't look like a schnauzer. It's like these little things that you have to take into consideration, as well as the grooming regime. The dog is knotted, but the owner still wants fluffy legs, so it's like, okay, how can I make this work where I'm not always going to shave the dog off? And obviously you don't want the dog to have a bad experience here, so brushing out or dematting is obviously going to cause pain, and you want the doggy to have fun. There's a whole bunch that goes into it. So even though we do get puppies and we do get to play with them, there are many different sides of dog grooming and expertise that comes with just having one dog on a table for a couple of hours.
And puppies are bonkers.
Yeah, puppies are bonkers.
Having puppies in all day is tiring. Like, having them for an hour is too much. Like, I wouldn't want to play with puppies all day. So anyone saying that hasn't been around a puppy too long because it's too much.
It's true. We do puppy intro. We have like 4, and it's like sometimes chaos. Wild. Yeah. So now that we have pointed out the first issue, what's the solution?
Education mainly, because dog grooming as a profession hasn't got any government guidelines. As of yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they come soon. The one thing before I decided to change careers was understanding that you have to educate yourself with this job, and doing a accredited course with a teacher is invaluable information that you will take on for the rest of your career, and will set up your career to the point where you can educate others, but also it means that you can have your credits on the wall so that when your clients come in, they understand that you've taken the time and you take your profession very, very seriously.
And you can do this also by obviously like showcasing your certificates, having your social media. So rather than just doing like before and after, you can, like what we're doing now is expressing our knowledge and everything through like YouTube. So it's like there's that platform as well that you can portray your expertise in. Following up from the first one is dealing with no-shows. So they probably tie in together with not having the same respect as like other professions, I suppose. The reason why we're filming is today is in fact because of one. So we have these 2 hours for free, and so we thought we'd jump on here and talk about this. So yeah, no-shows. What do you think?
One of the things that I noticed when I worked self-employed with the other place I was in a salon was the amount of no-shows that we experienced. I wasn't expecting it to be as frequent. I would say it was becoming like once a day we'd have someone not turn up, and we'd ring them and it would just be like, oh, I forgot, or I didn't realise, and then we had to implement a deposit system, which completely changed how clients would see their appointments. When there's a monetary value put onto the appointment that they could essentially lose if they don't want to turn up. And then it seemed to start the problem, but there's always a few that will not show up, and it just puts a financial burden on the whole day, really. And as most dog groomers are self-employed or have small businesses like this, it does take a hit, because it all adds up at the end of the day.
It does. I found that the weather is very much a big controlling point of it. So like today is pouring down with rain. We've had one no-show. It does tend to have that type of factor, like on a nice bright sunny day as well sometimes, even when like a lovely Sunday or something, people end up rather being in a picnic than taking their dog to the groomer and not show up. So definitely the deposit system has really, really helped, because people will lose that if they don't give you a cancellation update. So with us, we have a 48-hour cancellation policy. And then we take a deposit, and it's actually quite a large sum of deposit that we hold, because we did try a smaller deposit and people kind of just thought, oh well, it's only like say £20. So we had to raise it to make people more serious about their appointment, which is kind of unfair, because I mean, I know if I miss an appointment for myself and I can't make it, or I've not missed the policy terms and conditions update, then I know I have to pay, and I will pay. But I feel like with dog grooming, they don't, and you'll likely either just have that deposit or just never see them again.
Or lose a client, which is sad. It is sad, because we do build up quite a rapport with the dogs that we have come in and with the clients, it's just sad that it can't be sorted out the way that it's supposed to be sorted out.
Another thing as well, that we have a system that we use, and we send out automatic emails 2 days before as well, so it's a reminder email, and you can also do phone calls, or you can even do text, whichever suits you best. But then at least you've reminded them of their appointment, because obviously sometimes if they're busy, they're running out, they haven't written in their phone, but we also confirm straight after, then they get 2 days reminder, and then it's like, that's your cut-off point to let us know if you're coming or not. If you don't, then you have to pay. So from the very beginning, you really want to implement a deposit system, and you want to stick to it and know your worth and know your business's worth as well, because you don't want to waste your own time. Next up is setting up your prices. So we have to be kind of broad in our spectrum here, but I wish I had known a little bit better, or known a bit more in depth of how we should have set up our pricing here. So you want to make sure that you have your hourly costs down. So you want to figure out your rent, your utility bills, your staff, your own wages, your product costs, and all of that will be for 1 hour, so that you know how to base your 1 hour grooms on that cost. And then of course, if you want to make a profit, then you pop on however much profit you want to make as well.
With that in mind, you want to take into account the location in which you're working. You don't want to be either too high or too low for the location you are.
Because you don't want to just go to an area, copy the prices, because your business costs won't be the same as theirs, and it won't apply to you. But we'll stop there on that topic. But if you do want a more in-depth, then comment below, and feel free to message.
Another thing I wish I knew before starting dog grooming was the mental and physical strain it has.
Yeah, definitely. So when we first opened up Hackney Barkers, of course it's a new business, you want to get as many clients in, you want to, So we were open from 9 till 6, I believe, and 6 days a week, and it was just me and Michaela here at that time. We were getting home at like 7, 8, because sometimes people ran late or whatever, and then the cleaning, and then we were eating dinner at like 9, 10, and then back again at work. And it was just, and obviously, of course, you don't think about your own self when you're in it, because you kind of think, oh, someone's come in, I'll just take away my break. You learn that's not the good way fast, because it is something called burnout. So it's exhausting, this job. It's very physically straining on your body. You're on your feet all the time. You are with dogs that sometimes don't want to be there, so you're kind of not wrestling them, but you are using your whole physical body to try and keep them safe from jumping off the table. And the mental work of it as well, because the safety of the dog, the safety of yourself, your tools that you're using, and then you're not setting in your own time for breaks or your hours are too long. So you definitely want to take into consideration that your safety and your health and your mental preparation is good for the day. You want to set yourself a break. You don't want to overwork yourself, because if you aren't working to the best, then accidents happen, and also your job will just stop because you can't physically do it anymore.
Obviously, changing careers for me, I found that when I worked for another salon, it was a completely different environment in terms of the stress level. So we were doing triple the amount of dogs. I wasn't as experienced as I should have been doing that amount of dogs. So I experienced severe burnout very early on in my career, and it did for a moment make me think I've made the biggest mistake of my life.
It's good for me. Yeah.
You know, have I just quit one career to go into another that I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore.
It's hard.
But it's just about, it's finding the right place for you, you know. You're allowed to swap jobs, you're allowed to test jobs, you're allowed to do all of this. You don't have to be set in one way to do dog grooming, because there's so many different ways that others do it. Everyone does it differently.
Yeah.
The last thing that we wish that we knew before becoming dog groomers is managing client expectations and effective communication.
We definitely find that honesty is the best policy when dealing with customers and their expectations on dog grooming and their pet. When you first start out, of course you want to please. You may get a lot of dogs that come in that are knotted. You may not, but if you do, you kind of have to stand your ground and know that the best thing for that matted dog is to have a shave off, and try not to give in to brushing it out, because you have a job as a dog groomer to make sure that dog is comfortable, and it's not your fault that the dog is matted. So you're also not going to be able to brush that dog out in a nice manner in like an hour or 2 hours. So you will be causing that dog pain to brush out the mats, obviously depending on the severity of the knotting. And then you just kind of have to have that confidence and knowledge set behind that you're able to portray that to the owners, to let them understand that the best thing forward is to shave this dog off. You might be like, okay, like I'll try. And then the owner is expecting like a fluffy dog when they come and pick it up, but then actually you had to shave it off because it was worse than you even expected. And then you have to then have that awkward kind of like confrontation. I was expecting a fluffy dog, but I couldn't brush it out, you know?
As soon as that dog comes into the salon, you need to be assessing the coat.
Yeah.
You need to be looking at the coat, touching the coat, understanding what the client likes from the coat, from the dog. A lot of people say humanity over vanity. Hair always grows back, and if the dog has to be shaved, in that instance we can then explain to the client, oh, if you come in every 6 weeks, we can get to that look that you want to get to.
Yeah.
We can keep your dog fluffy, we can have them in a cute little teddy bear cut, as Courtney hates me saying, but we can achieve it if there is communication and are willing to work with each other, because the dog's always going to be there, and the hair's always going to grow back, and it's not the end of the world. We all had a bad haircut, and it's always growing back. And
like, we don't enjoy doing the shave.
No,
like no one
and
does.
it's not an easy groom either to shave a dog down. It's hard work, and it's just unpleasant.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not nice. We don't enjoy it for sure. Also, if you don't ever feel confident because you have just like say finished your course and you've got this, then again you can like take a pause, go work somewhere, build up your confidence where you can have that conversation with the owner and be like, you know what, this is how it's going to have to be. Then do it because it's your business in the long haul. Yeah.
We hope that this discussion gave you food for thought before you jump into the dog grooming profession.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and give your dog extra belly rubs from us, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.